So if you're looking for emergency meals for preppers to just add water, then you're going to love today's video. Today we're making a delicious taco soup meal in a jar using 100% shelf-stable, freeze-dried ingredients. So this is perfect for beginning preppers, campers, for busy moms who just want a quick, no-fuss meal that's ready to go at a moment's notice. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, be sure to do that now. If we've not met yet, I'm Jen Jones, founder of JenJonesCoaching.com, where I help ambitious women thrive at home with health, wealth, prepping, and homesteading. If you love meals in a jar, especially for prepping, camping, and those busy nights, then you're going to want to check out these two videos that are popping up. So today we're going to be making a taco soup meal in a jar, and you're just going to add water. So here's the ingredients that you're going to need, and this is going to be for a quart jar. So you're going to need your ground beef, tomato dices, chopped onions, black beans, sweet corn, green chili peppers, tomato powder, beef gravy mix, garlic powder, chili powder, cumin, salt, and pepper. And we're going to layer this all in a quart jar. So let's get going. So let's get assembling our meal in a jar. So first up, we're going to need 1 cup of our freeze-dried hamburger, okay? And I will put all of the links down below for the products that I use. I got a 1/4 cup here, so I need a cup. So I'm just going to use my 1/4 cup. So there's 1/4. I don't have enough in here. Let's get the oxygen absorber out of there. There's a 1/2. 3/4, and I'm going to have enough here. All right, and there's our cup of our freeze-dried hamburger. Next on our list is we need 3/4 cup of freeze-dried tomato dices. So let me get a hold of them. What I love about freeze-dried food is that it's already chopped up for you, so you don't need to chop it up and go through all of that, because I do not like doing that. All right, so we need 3/4 cup of our freeze-dried tomatoes. So let me grab, I actually put my 1/4 cup back in there, and I need it for here. All right, so we need 3/4 cup of freeze-dried tomatoes. So there's a 1/4. There is our 3/4 cup. Next, we need 1/4 cup of freeze-dried chopped onions. Again, this is what I love so much about freeze-dried food. I don't have to cry making the onions, chopping them up. So let's get the freeze dryers out of there, the oxygen absorbers, and we're going to do a 1/4 cup of onion. Okay, get that in there. And you can see how pretty this is starting to assemble in the jars. And it's just so much fun. I get so much joy out of just doing these. So then you kind of can slurry that down in there, and you can see how it's starting to layer up. All right, then 2/3 cup of instant black beans. Instant black beans are just cooked beans, then they have been freeze-dried, all right? And we need 2/3 cup of them, right? So there's 1/3. And there is 2/3, okay? Next on our list is we need a 1/2 cup of freeze-dried sweet corn. And here is the sweet corn. So let's grab a hold of our 1/4 cup, and we need a 1/2 cup, okay? So there's a 1/4, and there is our 1/2, all right? And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of freeze-dried green chilies. These always smell so good. Now, if you like more heat, you can add certainly more heat. So there's 1 tablespoon, and oops, a little shy there with that one. Okay, now as you can tell, it's starting to get really full. Next, we're going to be putting in our powders, all right? But we're going to give this a shimmy to work that down in there. Next, we are going to do a tablespoon of tomato powder. Now, tomato powder is very concentrated, so you kind of got to be careful with that. All right, but we're going to do 1 tablespoon of tomato powder, okay? Next, we're going to do a tablespoon of the savory beef gravy. and it's pronounced Espanol, or I think is how you actually say it, but it's just a beef gravy, and it's so flavorful. All right, and we're going to do 1 tablespoon of the beef mix. Okay. So there is that. And then next, we are going to do 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. So here's our garlic powder, and we're going to do 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And I love garlic. I don't know about you, but I love garlic. All right, so there's a teaspoon of that. Next, we're going to do a teaspoon of chili powder. Okay, teaspoon of chili powder there. And then we are going to do a teaspoon of cumin. All right, teaspoon of cumin. Hopefully I got enough of that here. Let's see. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. All right, teaspoon of that. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of salt. Now, if you need to watch your salt, you might want to just add it in later. But I'm going to go ahead and do a teaspoon of salt. And then the last ingredient in our jar here is a pinch of pepper, which I'm just going to dash that in there, okay? And then this is really full, so we're going to knock that down in there. All right, and can you see how beautiful those are? How they just layer in there. I just love how everything looks. All right, now if you're going to do this for long-term storage, then you would put into your jar a 200 cc oxygen absorber, and then you would put your lid on, all right? But we're going to cook this right away, all right? So let's get out our cooking stove and get out our soup pot, and let's get rolling. Okay, so now we're going to make our taco soup. So I've got out my heating element. I've already put in the 5 cups of water, okay? So you're going to do the 5 cups of water, and then we're going to just open up this jar, and we're going to dump the contents in, and smells so good already without even having it cooked. Oh, yummy. So we're going to get this just stirred up so that it all gets wet, and so it can all start to refresh, okay? And then I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to bring it to a boil, and then we'll simmer it for about 10 to 15 minutes, all right? So everything's now in the water, so let's let it do its thing. So I'm going to put the lid on, and I'll be back. Okay, it's starting to boil, so let's check it out here. All right, oh my gosh, it's already smelling so yummy, so let's give it a stir, okay? Make sure everything's underneath that water so everything gets refreshed. And then I'm going to put the lid on, and then we're going to let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll be back. Friends, so we have been simmering for 10 minutes, so let's take a look. Oh, look at that. All right. Well, it looks like things are about halfway refreshed, so I'm going to give this another 10 minutes, okay? I can just tell by looking at the corn that we are not ready yet. So, you know, everything is cooked. It's just got to be refreshed. So you could even actually, you know, soak this in cold water. It wouldn't be the most comforting, right? But you could. So I'm going to give this another 10 minutes, and I'll be back. Okay, my friends, it's been 10 minutes, so let's check this out. Oh, wow. I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. All right, so let's give that a stir. Okay. Now, one thing about this that is really great is once you heat it, like, you can actually turn it off. So I'm going to turn off my burner, and then you can let it set. And you continue to let things flavor. I always feel like things that are Mexican inspired always taste better the next day anyways. But I'm going to scoop up a little bit of this, all right? So we can give it a taste test. Now, I would also be putting on sour cream and cheese and maybe even some tortilla chips, just to, you know, make it more like a taco. So kind of however you want to do that. It's really what makes you happy. All right. So let me grab a spoon and let's get this taste tested. Okay, so let's give this a taste here. Make sure I get everything in here. All right, so let's go. That is really, really good. Now for me personally, I'd actually add some more salt to it, is what I would do. And you may even want to add a little more of your cumin spice as well. But like if you was to add sour cream and cheese, like that would actually help accentuate it as well. I'm gonna grab one more bite. All right, my friends. So I turned that off, so I'm just gonna let that continue to just set and flavor. And this is what I call a real prepper's meal, an emergency meal in a jar where you just add water. And it is a very satisfying meal. And you can tweak it to whatever it is, flavors that you enjoy and toppings that you enjoy. So whether you're prepping, whether you're a camper, you're a busy mom, this is a perfect meal to have in a jar. And I always encourage people, make this once. If you enjoy it, then make, 6 or 12 jars of it. Have it on your shelf so you have it for a busy night. Now, if you found this meal in a jar helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on, like this video, and even share it with a friend. And be sure to watch the following videos that are popping up, and I'll see you next week. Remember, we were created to thrive, not just survive.